Now, in case you thought cyberbullying was a phenomenon impacting only the very young and naive, think again. Cyber experts agree that even large companies and groups can be left with a stained reputation after cutting ties with key people who control their cyber identity and operations. Neika Lewis explores how you can get help if your company falls victim.
Attacks from cyberbullies are becoming commonplace not only for individual users, but increasingly for businesses and groups. Local cyber expert Trevor Forrest outlines recent incidents that impacted several Twitter accounts of global and even local companies.
And then they start to impersonate the account, sending messages which would normally not come from these companies, but it then starts to impact the brand. So what you start to see and get is messages from an entity that just, don't make sense. Now, when the entity discovers this, they may try to reach out to whoever started to do this. And then, that entity or individual says, well, if you want me to stop, you're going to have to do.
A common practice he highlights is when companies outsource their social media and tech operations, or in some instances, separate from certain internal specialists, whose bitterness translates to malice.
The social media managers are terminated or they leave or whatever, but they still have access to the accounts.
How?
Yeah. And the business is because they outsource it, they have no control or clue of how to protect their accounts because all of the management was put into the hands of an external entity, right? Or an individual. So they may have somebody in-house that was doing it. Person gets fired, but they still have access to and control of the accounts, and they didn't properly secure those things before the individual was terminated or left. Suddenly they lose control of their accounts, and a brand that they have built over a very long period of time now is at the whim and fancy of a single person who has total control over those accounts.
Reminding cyber threats are not limited to the young, Forrest says companies locally seeking protection have several options to consider.
They actually have consultants, companies, and platforms that are designed to monitor a company's brand profile in the digital space, and to make sure that there aren't attempts being made to tarnish that brand, the image of the company, through hijacking of their various social media platforms and so on. In fact, my company, we're going to start providing a service that monitors that kind of thing for companies.
He bemoans the reality in Jamaica, in which he says despite relevant policies on cybersecurity now under review, the vast majority of the population remain unaware of how to protect themselves online. Neika Lewis, CVM News.